Hey everyone, welcome back to Drawing with Dave, and today I want to take a look at the sketch we started last week and start getting some clean line drawing on top of it so we can start figuring out all the details. Let's hop right in. Alright, welcome in everybody. Let's jump right into this one. So kind of catch up real quick on where we left last week. I did this quick sketch, well it was too quick, it was about 30 minutes long. And I actually spent another kind of like 5-10 minutes after I kind of redrew the legs out a little differently. I kind of just figured just in regular standing pose is going to be fine for this since the previous legs, were driving me a little crazy. So let's just start right here. All right, so basically this is what I would have like as my loose sketch. It's got a good idea of where I want to go with it, but I haven't figured out a lot of things on it. So basically what I usually do, and you might have seen these in some of my other videos, is I'll make another layer and I'll just kind of put it right on top of it, drop the opacity down. It's almost like putting like a light, piece of tracing paper on it. Oh, let me fix my camera here. Okay. Let's see here. I'm gonna make another layer on top of this because I always like a billion layers. All right, I'm just gonna, sometimes I drop my flow down, put this on. Alright, so sometimes I like to check to see how large this image is, see what my resolution is. This should be fine. Basically what I do, and I love this stage of a painting, is really just slowing down and figure out all the nice kind of like little line drawing you can do with it. Really figure out these little details and nice little shapes we can make with it. I used to be so into doing line work for comics and all that stuff. So I always like to slow down and do this kind of line drawing stage. Even if we end up painting over lots of it, it just helps me figure out what I want to do with the piece, since I'm not always sure. And I figure out a lot as we go, I might do this phase even a few times, and you probably see that on some of my time lapses that it's not as clean as I want, and so I go back and I do the entire process over again. All right. Yeah, I guess we don't have to get like super detailed, but it's gonna be a stage more detailed than what we had, right? And then you can just slow down and figure out where you want all these silhouette shapes to be. This stage, I don't expect it to be perfect, but we can start to figure out a little bit more. Like, I'm not slowing down enough where it's like, oh, let's figure out exactly what these earrings are going to be. It's not super important right now. We don't have to go so crazy. There we go. Yeah, I definitely recommend, since we were going to do these videos with no music or anything, feel free to put on your own music while you listen to these. Might be better than just listening to me breathe the whole time. I usually have little music playing while I even work on these. I just have it muted, so only I can hear it. Since I can't play most music on these videos. So I'm gonna use a lot of this drawing that we have underneath as a good base to figure out the rest of this. There we go. And I really like crazy earrings sometimes. Like there could be like these big baubles and loops and other little things in here. Not too sure yet. All right, let's give it a flip. Not awful. All right. It's always reassuring when you can do a flip and you're like, it doesn't totally stand out as the most ghastly thing you've ever seen in your life. So that's a plus. It's a little weird on her face, but that's okay. Sometimes I might even take these and might push it over a little bit. just change the shape, size of the face here. Whoops. Yeah, we shouldn't spend like a ton of time doing this phase, but it's nice. It really helps me figure out a lot of what all this is going to be. I think I had the idea that this shape right here was going to be some type of like strap that connects into this like shoulder pad piece. Yeah, maybe the next stage we actually figure out a lot of these details of what these armor pieces are going to be. Like right now I haven't slowed down enough to really identify it, of what parts are going to be doing what. There you go. See, it's almost like just a step up of looseness, right? Or like, I guess I should say how much you tighten it up. Like it's gonna be more tight before, but it's not like a super crisp line drawing. You know, I really want to take this one to final two, so I think after we finish this one tonight, that I may just time lapse going into full color, because I think it's gonna take a few hours to go like full out. Oh, and I read your guys' comments about like what weapons she could have and everything. I saw someone post about having a fire scythe, and I thought that was a really badass idea. So I think we should definitely do that. And so, like, I'm not sure what she's wearing around her neck or anything yet, but even this like large strap actually is kind of like, it looks really cumbersome. I don't think I like it. So it's a good time to take it off. I figure out where Clara Bone was going to be and all this stuff. So we didn't really put her shoulder in here. But she could have something around her neck maybe, and that comes over. You know, then later we can go in and really figure out what we want to do with kind of an armor design, since I'm not entirely sure yet. I had some kind of loose ideas down here, but we can kind of figure them out. You know, if you're kind of a character, you need some pouches. Gotta always throw a couple pouches on here. All right, I had some ideas for these little things down here. We have 3 of them. So I'm really like still using a lot of this drawing underneath just to help me think of some random details that I might not have thought of before. They kind of just give me ideas of shapes and all that stuff. Yeah, she's kind of looking like a superhero at this point, but I'm okay with that. And she'll have more of like a loose cloth shirt underneath this that can connect down into whatever these arm braces are. So I just draw like a lot of kind of like swooped lines for now, just to give an idea of kind of like a silhouette of a shape we might want in the concept. But we don't have to go super specific yet. This is why there's usually kind of like multiple stages of this. There we go. All these pieces of this cloth down here coming down. And these things kind of hanging from, I do not even know what these are. This is going to be coming down from underneath this pouch. I kind of like the shape of them though. I think I added something kind of cool. A couple other little things back here, baubles and maybe some potions and stuff like that. All right. Without thinking about our hand right here, I know I wanted this part kind of comes down kind of around her waist and in front of her leg a little bit here. And then basically after this, I'll show you how we kind of think of some ideas of how we may do the scythe up. All right, so let's keep going down here. Just kind of brush this out. I like this really, I want this really scorched, burnt robe. So just kind of creating some nice loose lines to kind of have that swooping shape of this thing coming down behind her. All right, let's get some of these legs in. Not sure how I want to kind of dress these up either, but so we'll probably have the knees right here on each one. Bring this down. Put my glasses here. And some idea of feet here. Sometimes I'll do like this line in the middle, just kind of give me an idea of where this leg's supposed to be. There we go. And let's bring some of these lines back out. And we'll be able to sell this a lot more, I think, when we start painting. Really figuring how this is gonna look and feel. And we're just gonna make sure this kind of falls behind her feet here. Sorry, I think I'm whispering more than usual. Okay, there we go. All right, we'll brush out a little of this hair, and then let's try to figure out this fire scythe. So basically I'm gonna have it in her other hand out here. So we'll kind of figure out where her thumb is and where she's holding it. All right, I'm gonna make a new layer for this. Let's save this up. Let's zoom out a little bit here. And I'm gonna kind of just do some loose lines like we were before. You know, could have something that kind of curves in. We need something that's pretty sweet and massive. You know, I don't want like this kind of normal straight line, right? Just want to find like little shapes in here that look good, and then we can kind of dress it up more. Maybe this back part holds like some flames come out of this back part too. Or like you kind of have more of this like obsidian rock up here on this side. And this is like a real kind of burning hot molten blade right here. It's kind of like a staff scythe, which I think would be cool. And she could use it to cast, but she could also like cleave her head off. I'm into this idea of this character. All right, so these shapes are kind of neat. I actually like how this one's actually kind of splintered off a little bit. Maybe we'll keep it. Just kind of do that with it. That's kind of neat. All right, let's. We forgot about our hand here. Can't forget about that. She's just gonna have like just a closed fist here or something. Maybe she'll have these kind of weird gloves on, so she don't burn her hands. All right. All right, I think that'll do it. All right, so let's see here. I can add a little bit of value into this Scythe thing. So I think I want this part to be a little bit darker. Right here. Oh, and by the way, you guys have probably already noticed we're gonna release this video like a day or two early. I'll probably put this out on Sunday. I just had some scheduling conflicts of stuff. My Monday and everything is crazy, and so I'm gonna have this done on Sunday, and I may be away from my computer on Monday anyway. So we'll just get it online for you guys. You guys will see it on Monday anyway, even if that's your normal day. Okay. So one thing we can actually start doing, and we might as well put it in this video, is we can start overlaying some color on this thing. What do you think about that? I think that's actually going to be solid. You know, we could spend like an hour doing like a really super nice line drawing. I think it'd be a cool piece to have a super nice line drawing for, but I think you guys probably like seeing it start to get painted. And I can show you how I generally start that most of the time. Okay. So I'm just gonna put these in their own like little group here. So we have this kind of where we started, and a little bit of a cleaner drawing to figure out where we're going. Let's call these lines. And we'll make a new one, and we'll call it color. Okay. So basically, I usually start with the multiply layer. It puts pretty dark color. It doesn't oversaturate it, and it keeps my line drawing underneath it, which is a good thing. And so I'm not thinking about any type of highlights or anything. Like I know the basis of all this hair, even if it's glowing fire, is gonna have this orange undertone to it all, right? So. Alright, so I'm going to be doing like just like a lot of like flat color, kind of local color around this whole thing. I'm not really thinking about lighting or anything right now. And I don't mind being messy with it either. I'm not too afraid of keeping it in the lines or if it's going out into hitting something else. Yeah, her having actually like orangey red hair could be kind of cool too. Even when I turn the stage, I feel like I'm just always kind of discovering where I want to go with it all. So I'm never really sure. I want to bring that into some of her eyes too. We'll probably give her kind of normal pupils, but I like to say pretty dark with your eyes at first. Because your eyes actually in reality are not very bright. But she would be pretty cool if she was pretty pale skin. But obviously we're going to get a lot more reds and everything in her skin. This looks a little green. And so like usual, this stage is, you know, pretty messy, but it's like most of it, I'm just kind of brushing around as much as I can. And I'm thinking more we could go like have a dark blue for parts of her outfit. We could have like this blue, red, maybe, I think what other kind of colors we could do for the whole thing. And so basically I want to bring this around to a bunch of different areas to tie it all in, right? I want some colors that are hitting at the top to hit in other areas as well. So it feels like it's a cohesive piece. Like maybe this inside design is this color. Right, we can figure that. Maybe we'll bring some of that into that area. And then part of her gauntlet things will be this color too. I've actually done a clean line drawing even after this stage. We get these color shapes in and we go back in again. I mean, you don't have to like crisscross through the entire piece doing this, but sometimes it's nice just to kind of find a place to start. And that's what I'm always trying to do. Just figure out where are we starting on this thing. There we go. And so I'm wondering if we have this kind of like dark red right here. And then this is going to fade into like a charred black. All right, let's bring this down. Yeah, like I said, I never mind being pretty messy right here. I don't mind coloring over these like little holes into the background that we created earlier. Only because we're going to be grading this down into all this charred color down here, which I think could be pretty cool. It will make it clean and look really nice later. All right, I want to separate this kind of like foreground piece though. And there we go. Sometimes this texture on this brush can make it look a little messy, but it's really fine for this stage. This is stage 2 where I might send this over to my art director to check out too. Like, oh, you know, what do you think about this kind of palette we're going with? You know, it's so simple right now that it's really easy for managers to change or whatever it's going to be. Or they may say like, how about you just give me like 4 different color variants and we can kind of look through them, see what works. And it's like, okay, that's probably a good idea, instead of just hoping the first one works, you know. All right, I know I want her to have kind of darkish boots too though. I think these are supposed to be the boots as the color and where I had them. I couldn't really see it in the sketch before. All right. Do we introduce a third color into these other areas? I'm not sure. It's possible. Might not be a terrible idea. I think I wanted these to be gold. I had like this internal idea of where I wanted some of this stuff. You know, I don't want these to be all be gold. I want these different colors up there too. Maybe we can bring some gold into her neck here. Maybe some of these parts were gold as well. And then we can bring some on a part that may look like it's on her bracelets here. We may not need to bring it into the boots, but we could have like a little shape down here that kind of just does something for it. You know, we're still staying loose. I think that's important. We're staying loose with it still. We're figuring out some other shapes in here. There we go. You know, it's actually seeing all this black and red. Maybe that's reflective in her earrings as well. Some of these are like these kind of onyx looking ones and mixed with gold. That could be pretty cool actually. All right. The biggest thing that stands out right now too is like how weird her skin color and all that is. Okay. So after this this stage, I can start to do a real subtle overlay layer on top, just to kind of like fix some of the colors that we're going with here. Get a little more life in her face. She needs more reds in here for sure. I may just grab like a regular airbrush, which you guys can grab from my brushes. There's a link down below if you guys had not snagged those yet. Just bring a little of this peachiness back in. All right, she'll probably be just a just Caucasian kind of skin tone here. And be careful brushing this on because you can oversaturate your piece pretty quick with overlay. But sometimes it lays down some pretty quick colors for me to figure out. And then we can go from there. All right, we don't want to go too crazy, but it gives me ideas. And we don't need to figure out this Scythe just yet. I like this kind of like Halloween look she's got going right now too. I really like this character, guys. I really do. I'm actually excited to finish her up. I'm actually not sure what her hood's connected to. We haven't figured that out. I mean, it could be something that just kind of like clicks onto the back. I'm not sure. But I think the hood's cool. I don't think I'd want to take it off yet. All right, so basically we start going in and like, let's kind of slow down a bit. Figure out some soft shapes in the face here. You know, I don't mind if I'm going over some of this drawing right here because I'm going to clean a whole bunch of it up. I'm gonna go back and forth with like painting and then doing more line drawing, all that type of stuff. And I don't mind doing it with the airbrush right now either. Even though it can get scary later because you can get over airbrushy with your piece. All right. So sometimes I'll actually, even at this stage, I'm just gonna grab a dark color here. Gonna reline out a bunch of this. That's on the same layer. Let's make a new one. That's kind of why I make like 1,000 layers. It's all right. And I feel like every stage you just kind of slow up like just a tiny bit more. And then it's like, we basically go do this process for the entire piece. There we go. Sorry, I probably get a little more quieter in these little parts. I make her chin a little smaller. And we'll clean up kind of like the whole chin area. I usually don't like a really thick line around under the jaw and the chin, so it feels like it kind of goes back in space a little bit. But during this stage, we're still kind of figuring out shapes that work pretty well for us and all that type of stuff. You know, we could actually figure out more if she has more of an upper lip or and like how we want her mouth to actually look. And then we'll start cleaning this up. I'm gonna try to zoom in a little bit more for you guys. It might be hard to see. How's this? This is probably better. I'm so used to working far away. I'm trying to work closer, a little closer for you guys. Even though like at this stage you probably don't need to be so close. I kind of been doing this like shape a lot with my eyebrows. I like, you know, like a thicker brow. Let's get this light back on top of the nose here too. She's kind of just looking straight into nothing right now. Like we could kind of take her pupils and put them in a different direction at one point. There we go. You know, you could always still kind of shift stuff around too. Like, I might copy that over and move the nose up a little bit, or let's see here. You know, I'll actually get some shadow underneath the down here. And then I can see that like, oh, you know, this color is nice. What if we get like a little bit more kind of red towards the bottom here? That could look kind of nice. Let me clean up these earrings. They kind of look like the those little things that trapped mosquitoes in Jurassic Park. And I can kind of bring some line back and maybe I'll tweak some of these shapes in the brows. And this is usually how I do my eyebrow stuff lately. Alright, we're going to actually bring some darker value into the lips here. They should be darker. It's a little bit of shadow right here. Could do like one of these kind of things. So we were working pretty close. Pretty zoomed in. Like I said, I don't usually like to be so zoomed in. Let's try to get some more kind of nostrils in here. So at least we can see him. So even at this stage, like, there's some more tweaks we can do to the face. But I don't want to spend so much time on the face right now when there's so much of this piece has been like undiscovered and we haven't figured it out yet, right? I'm trying to figure out if like I want to bring some more of this hair over on this side. I think actually we may want to bring this hood a little bit lower. I think the hood looks like it's too high. All right, that could be something. We can figure out kind of like these kind of shapes, what we do want to do. I want to get a little lighter and a little more saturated. Maybe we can darken this hair up in here. Bring some of that in. There we go. So really just spending a lot of time doing this. Figuring out where these little shapes are. You know, we're cutting in and out. Discovering all these little parts. And then as we go down, we take these little colors that we did. I was like, oh, maybe this is like a little circular pendant. And where it connects to on the neck, we'll figure out. I discover a lot of these as I paint. It's really just kind of, I don't know how my style and progression has kind of became his thing over the past few years. I think like the side of her face here, and we'll have to clean up these shapes where her cheekbone is and just all that stuff, but we'll clean that up. We'll figure it out. I can't decide like if we want to give her more of a smirk, more of a smile. I'm probably going to put more of her top face in shadow from the top of the hood. And then I think we'll have some cool results. And same, you can do that the same way with like a multiply layer or something. That like we could do something that was like, because then it's going to make her eyes really stand out too. And this is how I end up figuring out like a lot of my lighting for a lot of pieces. Is we'll just slow down and find little interesting shapes and places to do this type of stuff. You know, and I think it'll look a lot cooler because then we could just have, we don't have to have it like totally glowing coming out of our eyes, but we could do parts where it's like, it looks like it's almost like these little sparkles of, it's like fire embers in her eyes or something. And then we'll kind of go back in and repaint where we want these specifically to be. All this light and stuff. So it's not so airbrushed. I'll just keep slowly figuring out more and more of who she is. I like to kind of discover their personality as I discover who they are in the piece. It's always kind of nice. Well, I don't know how long we've been going. It's kind of been my fear is like doing these in full real time that I wonder if they're going to take so long. Since usually my experience in the industry so far is usually when we quote a piece, so for our scheduling wise, it's usually we do about 2 days per character and 3 days per environment. Some go a lot quicker, some could take longer, but usually when we give our producers quotes and stuff, that's usually a good basis to go off of. So if I was doing this character, given feedback, it would probably take me about 2 days of work, which is probably a good 12 plus hours of painting. So I think I would love to time lapse the rest of her. We'll just do the music. I'll take the cam off of me, and I think, and this will be just a non-Drawing with Dave update. I'll just put it out like midweek if you guys want to see, and we can just see where this goes completely to final, like pure polished final, because I really like this character and I want to see her. Yeah, it'd be cool. I don't even have an OC. People always ask me like, hey, what's your OC? I'm like, I don't have one. This girl seems pretty cool. I actually like her a lot. Maybe she could become my first OC. This kind of fire girl. I like her a lot. Maybe you guys can think of a name for her down below. That'd be awesome, since she's kind of a creation with you guys too. But I think she's really cool. I think she could be a really cool design. So hopefully this is, we did another step forward. I'm sorry you have to wait a week just to see kind of like another 30, 40 minutes of work on it. But let's bring this to final, and we'll speed it up. And you're going to see this exact same process. And during the time lapse, I'll do some commentary over it too, just to kind of give you guys, hopefully just to show you guys some stages and explain it a little bit as I go. Guys, thank you so much. And let's start a new sketch next week. Guys, thank you so much. And if you like this type of content, subscribe, make a comment down below, give it a thumbs up. You guys have been amazing so far. All right, I'll see you guys next week.